let's talk about some of Nigel Farage's Reform UK plans. And he's sounding very much like sort of Elon Musk or Donald Trump at the moment. Quite extraordinary that they have gone from nothing to controlling 10 major councils around the country. I mean, in Kent, where I have a lot of friends, they're absolutely shell-shocked. I would suggest, because that was true blue Tory, I would suggest that's because Kent is on the front line of the migrant crisis and the good people of Kent have had enough. But they've got 10 councils, one of which is run by a friend of the show, Andrea Jenkins, Dame Andrea Jenkins. She was swept to triumph in Lincolnshire on Thursday night. She was going to come on the show, but she's got a sick kid tonight. But what I wanted to ask her, obviously, was will she be bringing in what Nigel said his councils would do? And that is, he said that they will cancel DEI. There'll be no more diversity. He said there will, if you're a diversity officer for one of these councils, he suggests you start looking for another job. He said there'll be no working from home. And that every council that Reform runs would go into legal battle with the government to try to stop migrants being posted, accommodated, billeted in local hotels. So he's talked the talk. You know Nigel Farage, I suspect he'll go hell for leather to walk the walk. But I think, we'll play a clip, by the way, of him making this declaration in just a second. But I think that's what the people of this country want to hear. I think they want to hear no more of this diversity nonsense, no more working from home. Let's be a proper country. Let's close our borders. Let's not make every single borough in this country a home to thousands and thousands of foreigners who arrived here illegally that we, for some reason, embrace as if they were long-lost friends. People have had enough of this. And if he can come through with all of this, I think it'll be good news for Reform.
I think it'll be brilliant news for Reform, and he really does need to come through with it. Brilliant that Andrea is saying all of this thing, and I think she will follow through on all of this. They need to be seen to be really trying, and it's those two things. It's immigration and identity politics. As I was saying before, those are the two things that are making us miserable. And so Nigel has this knack of being able to focus very specifically on the key things that the electorate are really, really concerned about. He has to follow up. Now, councils can only do so much, okay, but they need to be seen to be trying, okay, because they will have some successes, but they're bound to have some failures as well. That's okay, as long as they're doing their best, because what Reform need to be doing on the back of that is sitting down quietly in small rooms and thrashing out policy that will then help them with all of this stuff in the future. Okay, that is really, really important, because we are possibly looking at Nigel Farage as Prime Minister and reforming government. So they need to be able to do that. They need to be able to present the policy. They also need to be able to deal with the human rights lawyers. Now, they might not be able to do that on a local level, but they will be able to do that on a national level. And they need to communicate that preparation, that stuff that's going to happen, okay? That's in terms of policy. What they also need to do internally, in terms of governance, is sort themselves out and be able to have disagreements in a way that allows them to function, and have systems which allow people to be able to speak and express ideas, because that's the way you get really, really good policies. So if all of those things come together, first locally, but prep on a national level as well, this is going to be superb. And in some ways, I know I come across as very despairing on some of these points, some of these stories that we talk about, but it looks really good at the moment, and I haven't felt so optimistic for quite a long time, actually, and Nigel and everybody else are making the right noises. So let's just hope and pray that they follow up on them in a proper and organised way.
Yeah, as I say, they've been talking the talk for a long time now, and people like the sound of what Nigel Farage, Richard Tice and all the gang say. Quite clearly, we know this from the results last week, but they do need to showcase that they can also walk the walk. They've got to now prove they can govern. Now, I like what he said about getting rid of DEI, getting rid of working from home, but he's got to bring it through. And also, Zia Yousaf, the Reform chairman, said something very interesting. He said they're going to challenge all of these hotels, these asylum seeker hotels, on the grounds that, in actual fact, to go from hotel to asylum seeker refuge is a planning issue. It's a different use of the building, and they're going to go down that legal route. They're going to challenge these places legally, which will be very, very interesting. And if they succeed, or even if they begin to succeed, let me tell you, a lot of local communities are going to go, good for reform. Carry on the good work. It's what's extraordinary about this. It's the nature of the earthquake. We are on the cusp of a common sense party being in control. It already is in control of a lot of the country. And if they start sort of doing a Trumpian bonfire of the woke vanities, people are going to love it. They're going to love it. They've just got to do it, as you quite rightly say. Well, let's quickly remind ourselves of Farage talking about DEI. Then we'll go to break, and then we'll talk about Harry and the BBC. But first of all, take it away, Nigel.
We are going to be quite radical. Work from home, forget it. If you're a DEI officer, I suggest you look for another job. So things are going to be different. We can't wave magic wands. We don't pretend to, but it'll be a very different approach to local government.